Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Alex Curry, filling in for Joy Taylor. On today's show, who's to blame for yet another disappointing loss in Dallas? Plus, Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson stops by to talk about how much the Cowboys miss Ezekiel Elliott. And do the Vikings have what it takes to make a run to the Super Bowl? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Let's start with another loss for the Cowboys. Dallas lost their third straight game by at least 20 points yesterday, this time at home to the Chargers. Phillip Rivers threw for over 400 yards and had 3 touchdown passes against Dallas's defense. And Dak Prescott had another bad game, throwing 2 interceptions, including a 90-yard pick six. Dak has now turned the ball over 8 times during their losing streak. Here's Dak after the game.
Is this the toughest stretch that you've ever had as a quarterback?
I'd definitely say so. I mean, I don't know how many it is, 5 or 6 turnovers in 2 games? I mean, definitely. I mean, I've been seasons without that many, so it's very frustrating. We're all frustrated, and we're going to be frustrated, and I'd be pissed if somebody in there isn't. But, yeah, we're not going to lose confidence in ourselves. I mean, like I said, those guys in there, the Pro Bowls that they have and the resumes that they have that they've done in this league, I mean, we've got the answers. We've just got to get off our own feet, like I said, and get better.
Shannon,
yes.
Who's to blame for the Cowboys' loss?
Anthem protest. Well, they blame that on everything else that's going on in the NFL, so I thought I could. But since
Touche, I'll accept that one.
Since I can't blame a thing, is it Sean Lee? Sean Lee keep on throwing all those interceptions, Alex. You know, all of a sudden they can't score any point. It's Ezekiel Elliott. It's what I told Skip Bayless. I've been trying to tell Skip, Alex, for the last 15 months, that this train, the Dallas Cowboy trains, it runs by the conductor, which is one Ezekiel Elliott, not Dak Prescott. But Skip Bayless didn't want to hear me. I'm a hater. You just hate all things Cowboys. You're hating on Dak. But now you're getting to see what Shannon Sharpe and many others have been telling you all along, Skip Bayless. What Ezekiel Elliott allows you to do. He allows you to possess the football, which controls the clock, which keeps the poorest of your units off the field for a significant amount of time, which is your defense. Skip, you know your defense didn't force a punt yesterday? We'll get to that later. Also, what it does.
By the way, thank you for making my case. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it also what's making your case is that when they ask Dak Prescott, Dak, we can't run it today. Deliver us from evil. He cannot. He will not. Because this is what we know over the last 3 ball games without one Zeke Elliott. Do you know, Skip, his passer rating is 40 points lower without Zeke as opposed to with Zeke? Now, his first game in Atlanta, his QBR, you love QBR. Alex, in case you didn't know, QBR is a stat they measure from 0 to 100. So 50 is very good. He's played 3 games without one Ezekiel Elliott. He had a 41 against Atlanta. 50 is average, so 41 is is below average. He said, no, I can do worse than that. I can do better than the one in Atlanta. He went 11.5, which is way, way, way north of average. And then he topped that up on Thanksgiving. People sitting around. Do you know how many people watched that game and couldn't enjoy their Thanksgiving meal? Sick all night long. 14.2. You know what? I think he's getting the hang of this thing that's turning this ball over because he's starting to do it with greater regularity. Here's a guy, he doesn't turn the ball over. Carson Wentz turns it over. He throws his completion percentage. I keep telling you, Skip Bayless, at one point in time, you know what? You like a lot of other people say, Shannon Sharpe, he does a whole lot of talking, but don't nobody say, Shannon Sharpe don't know what the hell he's talking about. Yeah, you all that you want to. He's Skip. Dak, hold on. Dak.
Tell me when it's my turn.
It's not your turn
please.
just yet. Skip, I've only been going. Skip only been going.
Are you actually timing how long you're
2 minutes, 38, 39, 40.
Skip. Lord have mercy.
In 3 games without Zeke, Dak Prescott has 500 passing yards, 0 TDs, 8 turnovers, 5 INTs, 3 fumbles. Skip, do you know he's the first quarterback in a long, long time to go multiple games with 0 touchdowns and multiple turnovers? Ryan Leaf played for the Cowboys. He never did that. Kellen Moore, Quincy Carter, Anthony Wright, Chad Henson. Do you want me to go, Hutchinson? Do you want me to go on, Skip? Drew Henson, excuse me. Do you want me to go on? This is what you're talking about. Now, you just said a couple of weeks ago, you hate to say this, but it's a blessing in disguise. that Zeke Elliott got suspended, because Dak is going to shut up all his haters, mainly one you, Shannon Sharpe. All I said was, Skip, after this, we're going to have either no more questions to be asked, or we're going to have a lot more to ask. And I think after these 3 games, there are more questions left unanswered than he's been answered.
Okay. You finished?
You go ahead, Skip.
My turn. You have had your time now. Now for the truth of what happened yesterday, because I don't have any props. I don't have any shtick. I just have the truth. Truth number 1, I picked the Los Angeles Chargers to win the AFC West, did I not? Yeah, and they're looking a whole lot like a team that is becoming the biggest threat in the AFC to the New England Patriots. They have the best pass rush in pro football. Am I right about that, Mr. Hall of Famer? Right about that? They have the hottest veteran quarterback in pro football at this moment. Am I right about Phillip Rivers? They have a top 5 receiver who's threatening to become a top 1 receiver in Keenan Allen. You've been checking him out lately?
Is he better than Dez?
Yeah, way better than Dez. Like, Dez isn't even in his dust right now. And they also have over there at cornerback a guy who might just be the best cornerback in all of pro football, and Casey Hayward, who actually went to Vanderbilt University, which you say never produces any football players, right?
Yep.
Casey Hayward, best cornerback in football. Now to what's wrong with the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, they miss Ezekiel Elliott. I have been trying to tell you for 2 years he's the best running back in football, though there were times last year when I think you ranked him as low as 4th best running back.
No,
Remember that?
I said he was 2nd best.
Oh, please. You had days when you had him 3rd or 4th down the list. But it's okay. I'm saying he's the 1st best, and I'm saying they obviously miss him. But they don't miss him nearly as much as they miss Sean Lee. I'm not second guessing this. I'm not 3rd or 4th guessing this. I first guessed it. I told you months ago this defense was built solely around that inside linebacker, Sean Lee. He is the sun to all the planets that circle around him. And with no Sean Lee, they have no hope. So I'm not trying to 20/20 hindsight this. I told you this going in, did I not, Shannon Sharpe? So let's look at what's happened in the 5 games without Sean Lee in the middle of that defense. 5 games, they have been right there at halftime, either winning the game or barely losing the game, because remember, the 5 games are Rams, Packers, Falcons, Eagles, Chargers, right? Yeah. Rams, they were up 8 at halftime. Packers up 9 at halftime. Falcons trailing only 3 at halftime. Eagles up 2 at halftime, and yesterday trailing by only 3 at halftime. Would you say they were right there at halftime each time?
Right there.
Guess what the combined score of all those 5 second halves is now with no Sean Lee?
What is it?
Opponents 114, Cowboys 22. Let that compute for a second. The second half scores, no Sean Lee, 5 games. It's 114 for the opponents and 22 for Dallas. What does that tell you about the Dallas defense in the second half of those games? It is an abject disaster. I have been humiliated. I have been annihilated in the second half with no Sean Lee. What happened on the first 3 possessions of the second half yesterday? Help me out, Mr. Hall of Famer. What happened? Boom, boom, boom happened. Am I right?
How you asking?
Did Phillip Rivers just go boom, boom, boom? 3 straight touchdowns with 3 straight possessions?
Alex, did he ask me a question? He won't let me. What happened, Mr. Hall of Famer? And then you chime in. You gonna let me answer?
It was rhetorical.
Oh, okay.
It's my turn. So what happened on the 3rd, quote-unquote, touchdown drive? Keenan Allen takes just a pretty short pass. Could we see this one, the Keenan Allen play? And we're seeing.
Oh, walk it to him.
That was another throw. Here we go. Here's Keenan Allen.
Oh,
let's see.
Outright.
Missed.
Whoa.
Missed.
Whoa.
Missed. I'm going to conservatively say there were 4 missed tackles on the play. And what happened against the Eagles in the second half? What did Jay Ajayi say in the second half happened?
What?
The Dallas defense quit. Yeah. And yesterday, I'm going to be nice. I'm just going to say that without Sean Lee, they once again, right on schedule, lost heart and they gave up. So all of a sudden, it's 22-6. Well, think of what poor Dak Prescott is up against at that point.
Oh, poor Dak!
Who's got the best pass rush in football? The Chargers. Now you're up against 22-6. So what happened? Let's go back. Let's put Dak in perspective.
Oh, yeah, put it.
Mr. Hall of Famer,
yes.
What happened in the first half? What was the Cowboys' MO? What did they try to do? They came out running 2 or 3 tight ends, and they tried to, quote unquote, pound the ball with one Alfred Morris, who is no Zeke. He's okay, but he's no Zeke. And you know what they did? Jason Garrett, who I've been on record, I don't love him as the head coach of this team. As long as the planets are aligned and Sean Lee is there and Zeke is there, Jason can kind of slap everybody on the butt, and it kind of keeps purring right along. And they won 11 straight games with Jason Garrett as the head coach last year. But when there's any problem going on and you need Jason Garrett to be bold, to be assertive, to be creative, to play to win instead of not to lose, good luck. So he played not to lose in the first half, and they just tried to play a pathetic game of keep away and not let Dak throw it very much in the first half. He threw it 10 times. He completed 9 of them for a grand total of 46 yards? I mean, that's just, seriously? 46 yards in the first half, 46 yards passing.
He got that C on his chest. Captain check down.
Okay. So what happened? At halftime, just because Nick Novak got hurt, it's only 3-0. It should have been, 9 to, it probably should have been
way more.
16-0.
Yeah.
Probably should have been over at halftime.
Yes.
But it was not over at halftime.
But it was. They had to just play the second half. But game was over.
So, again, Phillip Rivers, unfortunately, got the second half kickoff and went boom, 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 touchdown. And all of a sudden, 3-0. They missed the extra point. So it goes to 9-0. And then, right on schedule, they have to throw the football. And what happened? Dak Prescott actually looked really good running the no huddle. They start going fast, and he starts going bing, 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 and he starts throwing it up the field. And all of a sudden, it's 16-6, and they went for 2, and it was his first bad throw of the day. He threw it a little high to Terrence Williams. And then here they come again. And even after 22-6, boom, 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 he hits Terrence Williams for 38, and all of a sudden, they're in business down 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. And here's the play of the day. You brought him up. Throw up the X, as in just throw up, because I just about threw up all day yesterday. That's what I did.
Hold it down.
I couldn't even eat my Thanksgiving. I saved it until after, and I said on Facebook Live last, I can't even eat. Ernestine had it all spread out last night, and I said, I'm sorry, I lost my appetite, because we didn't lose the game. We got annihilated.
What?
Okay, so what happened on this play? To Des Bryant,
what happened?
Here it is, on Casey Hayward.
What happened?
Tell me this isn't a nice throw from Dak Prescott. You got to catch that. If you're, what did he get? 50 million guaranteed? Is this what? You got to catch that.
But look at his hands, Skip. Look at his hands.
Crossed.
His hands are crossed.
He threw up the X. I don't care. Listen, Casey Hayward is really good, but if you're that guy, if you're one of the top-paid receivers, Shannon Sharpe goes up and snatches that and puts it in his back pocket, and guess what the score would have been? All of a sudden, you go for 2 and make it, and it's 22-14. It's back to a 1-score game.
Yeah.
So that's it. Make or break. And now Dak's like, man, I don't know what I got. And he gets more desperate, and 3 plays later, he rolls out to his left and tries to throw a jump pass to Cole Beasley as they tries to force feed him, and some rookie from Iowa picks it off and goes the other way. 90 yards the other way. Game over, 28-6.
Hold up, but you said he could throw on the move. But before you know, here's my retort. I'm trying to figure this out. The question was, Alex asked, who's the most to blame for the Cowboys' loss?
Well, it's obviously Sean Lee.
Anybody
knows that. Half a brain.
Time out.
You know that.
How the hell do you picking the Chargers to win the AFC West have any effect on the Cowboys losing this game?
Because they're really good. They're going to beat a whole bunch of teams. I'm telling you, they've become the biggest threat to New England in the AFC.
So you picking
That's a football team.
Hold on, Skip. So you picking them is the blame because they're good. That's the blame for them. Okay,
just think of what Dak Prescott has been up against for 3 straight games. Help me out here. Matt Ryan, reigning MVP in Atlanta.
You said you'd rather have Dak over Matt Ryan. Go ahead.
Okay, I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
I did not.
Yeah, you did.
And then Carson Wentz in a lifetime.
You said you'd rather have.
I definitely would rather have Dak over him, but he is the runaway, according to you, MVP of the moment.
No, I didn't say runaway.
Okay, he's the favorite.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened? There's nobody hotter right now than Phillip Rivers, who's played for a long time and really knows how to throw that football against a defense that he can pick apart when he has enough time to say, should I throw it to Keenan? Or wait, you know what? I haven't thrown it to Hunter for a while. Or maybe I'll dump it off to Melvin Gordon. Or who knows, Tyrell Williams. He's opened up this. He's like saying, should I have this slice of pumpkin pie or should I have that slice of turkey?
Skip, and you make a very valid point about without Sean Lee, they've given up 114 points.
Second half.
In the second half. If you don't mind me asking, What impact does Sean Lee have on them scoring only 22 in those 3 games?
Once again, guess what happened in the second half? Phillip Rivers had the ball for 19 minutes in the second half because of that defense. And Dak Prescott had the ball for 11 minutes. It's exactly what happened against Philadelphia. It was 19 minutes to 11 minutes in the second half. How much can you ask of a second-year quarterback against Phillip Rivers?
Well,
and help me out with this. Have you seen any Cowboy pass rush of late? Because over the last 3 games, they have 1 sack. Guess how many times Dak has been sacked over the last 3 games?
14.
14 to 1.
Yeah.
14 to 1. Phillip Rivers is just standing back there. I told you on Wednesday, I said, I fear he will pick them to pieces. That's exactly what he did.
No, but you said the game was going to be close. I said the Chargers would win big, and I emphasized B-I-G.
You had 0 conviction in your pick because I said, I'll give you, give me 10 points. And what did you say? No, I'm not going to do that. You were afraid. You were afraid. Yeah, now you will.
Hold on, Skip. Hold on. Okay, you keep talking about how the Chargers had the ball for 19 minutes in the second half, but in the first half, the Cowboys had the ball for 14 minutes.
Yeah, they hung in. They played not to lose.
I'm just trying. Okay,
hung in and hung on for dear life.
If you don't mind me asking,
you know what I would have done? Thank you for bringing that up. I would have started Bryce Butler. I told you the other day, I'd start him over Dez. I would bench Dez Bryant, and you know what I would have done if I'd been Jason Garrett? I would have come out and thrown it all over the lot in the first half because I'd know my defense has got no shot against Phillip Rivers. I'd just try to outscore him early.
But if you don't mind me asking, what does Sean Lee have to do with Dak turning the football over?
Okay, think about when he came apart. What was the score when he came apart? 22-6. Okay. It was absolute desperation. He played very well up to 22-6.
When did he come?
So what are you going to do? You're asking a second-year quarterback to play desperate.
Yeah,
and he plays desperate, and he throws a stupid pick 6 over trying to force it to Cole Beasley. And then who picked off the second pass? Help me out. Casey Hayward from Vanderbilt University, a school you say doesn't play football. You don't even think they have a football team. He's the best cornerback in football.
I like that. No, let's not go. Listen, just because
so it's 22-6. Everybody says, "Oh, he's throwing interceptions." It was 22-6.
Yeah. Just because he locked Dez Bryant up, let's not leap to the conclusion that he's the best cornerback in the game. Well, he had a he had a great game yesterday.
He's had a lot of great games.
He's playing well. But I'm just trying to figure out the correlation. You say Dak fell apart yesterday, but did you see him in the second half against Atlanta? But you said he had no protection. You know, those guys weren't protecting him. Did you see him against?
I didn't think he fell apart in the second half against Atlanta.
They scored 0 points.
Yeah, his blind side is getting annihilated. No quarterback. Tom Brady had got annihilated in Denver in the AFC Championship game. Pressure burst pipes. That's what you always say, right?
But you keep tell me the impact that Sean Lee. So Sean Lee wouldn't have thrown that interception, right?
I'm not going to dignify that.
No, of course not. No. You keep trying to make you want to place blame everywhere.
You know what I would like to see? I wish Dak could go both ways and play safety.
Stop, Skip.
And I'm going to say this again.
How about he play quarterback
I'm going to say this again. I campaigned for Jerry Jones to sign Darrelle Revis because in that kindergarten secondary that they have right now, well, it is. It's just a bunch of kids. They're playing 3 rookies.
Alex.
Okay? But listen, against Phillip Rivers, if you had Darrelle Revis back there, I don't care if he's a shell of himself. I don't think he is a shell of himself. But he is a Hall of Fame presence to have in a secondary with a bunch of babies. So it would have given you enough presence. The score wouldn't have been that. The second half score without Sean Lee wouldn't be 114-22 if Revis were a Cowboy. And guess what he is right now? He's a Kansas City Chief. And that was a sweet move by Andy Reid.
I tried to tell you. I said Jerry Jones is trying to, he thinks, and Cowboy fans think, and Skip Bayless think, he's going to have the same success last year with his rookies this year. And that's not the case, Skip Bayless. That was an anomaly. To have Zeke and Dak do what they did on the same side of the ball, on the same team, is an anomaly.
If you had Sean Lee, the signal caller, the driving force of the defense, the kids can play around him, but they can't play by themselves.
No, Skip, here's the thing. When you don't get pass rush and you portion the secondary, they can't lock people up for just say maybe Lawrence needs an extra step. Maybe Irvin needs, hold on, wait a minute. When was the last time somebody heard taco? I hadn't even seen a taco commercial.
It's a good point. You told me. I agree. I thought he was going to be pretty good.
What about Jordan Lewis?
Okay, speaking of Jordan, I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
Last 2 quick points.
Yeah.
When you get going on a negative roll, you've been there before, you get snake bitten, you feel like what can go wrong will go wrong. Jordan Lewis has got an interception in the first half that could have really swung the momentum, and it goes up into the sunlight, so it's like everything that could be bad, wrong place, wrong time. Jordan Lewis has it right in his hands.
And what happened?
That's a game changer. You have to catch that.
Oh.
I don't care if you're a rookie or not. You just have to catch that. And then the other loser play. Who came back yesterday? Tyron Smith came back, the best left tackle in football. I think he was a little limited, but what other play could have broken the momentum? You just swung it around, gotten the crowd back. Dak made a great play with his legs, and what happens? He's gone. All of a sudden, it's going to be 9-7. Oh, now it's going to be a football game. But Tyron Smith holds on the edge, and you know what's ironic about that?
What?
I don't think he needed to hold. I think they fooled him so badly, I think Dak would have been gone without a hold.
But Tyron Smith didn't know that.
It's what happens. When you start losing, it just goes south.
Well, hold on.
Now you're making loser plays.
And you keep talking about Dak maybe lost a little confidence. Why would Dak lose confidence? He stood up and said, no matter who's in the lineup, Zeke, Tyron Smith, defense, it doesn't matter. We're going to go do what we do. Why is he not doing that, Skip Bayless? You still won't answer that. Oh, Sean Lee, my bad.
Again, I thought he played pretty well yesterday until it was all things were lost.
Well, if y'all want to party, come on over to Club Shay Shay. I'm open.
Yeah.
We're going to do something before 2 something. Bring your appetite and jokes. That's all I need. I don't need you to bring nothing else. Shay got everything at Club Shay Shay.
No mercy.
This is Shannon Sharpe, and before the show moves along, a quick word about Home Depot and Husky Tools. They say in life there are no guarantees. Well, I'm here to tell you there just might be one exception. In 1924, Husky started making things for people who make things, and they did it with common sense. That meant adding function, never frills, and making tools that stood the test of time. 93 years later, Husky is still making quality-crafted, durable tools, and Husky stands by their hand tools for life, so they gave their hand tools a lifetime warranty. Like the Husky Ratchet, with a 100-position ratcheting design and a 10% longer handle than standard ratchets, or the virtually unbreakable Husky Flashlight with the ability to withstand a 30-foot drop, both guaranteed for a lifetime, built so you won't need it. Now that's a pretty sure thing, and to Husky, that's common sense. Husky, common sense tools since 1924, with hand tools guaranteed for a lifetime, found only at the Home Depot.
No mercy.
Jerry Jones held a closed-door locker room meeting with the Cowboys players yesterday after their 3rd straight loss. Jerry said they're not a good team right now, but he backed Jason Garrett and the coaching staff. Defensive end Tyrone Crawford said the message was supportive and added that Jerry wanted the team to know they are, quote, super blessed to be in this position. Shannon, what did this meeting mean?
This is Jerry, wanting to hear Jerry talk. Yeah, I know I'm blessed. I'm thankful. I got an opportunity to see another Thanksgiving. There are some people that didn't get an opportunity to see this Thanksgiving. I'm blessed to play in the NFL, yada, yada, yada. I get all that, Jerry. Listen, I played 14 years in the National Football League, and I didn't win every season, although I like to think I did. Mr. Bolin, my owner for 12 years in Denver, never got up before the team. My rookie year, I think we lost like 7, 8, 9 games in a row, Skip. Had a radio personality, got up on a billboard and says, I'm not coming down until the Broncos win a game. Not one time did Mr. Bolin, Mr. B, step before the team and speak. Play Art Modell. I don't know what Art did before I got there. I don't know what he did after. The only time Art Modell came into the locker room and spoke to us was after the Super Bowl. And he almost broke down. He said, guys, I'm proud of you. He said, you did me proud. He said, you'll never know how much this one means to me. That was it. Everybody knows what this is about. Jerry's upset that Zeke got suspended. That's why he's trying to hold up the compensation package with the commissioner. Everybody sees right through this. Jerry thought he was going to get the same kind of production from his rookie class this year as he got out of last year. And I told you, Skip, that was an anomaly. That doesn't normally happen. You get 2 guys. One is rookie of the year. The other is finishing second in the rookie of the year. Both are MVP candidates. One is an all-pro. The other, that's an anomaly. And so Jerry's like, well, hold on. I'm doing real good. Let me go. I'm going to get rid of all my secondary. Bring in all new guys. Okay. How that working out for you? And talking about, what are you talking about? You wouldn't stand up, you wouldn't having no closed door meeting when that thing was going good?
Nope.
Oh, now, listen. He's always, the owner that he admired the most was Al Davis. That's who he wants to be. And this was something that Al probably would have done. But Jerry talking, man, on Skip, for me personally, I ain't paying no attention. I have the utmost respect for my owner. I'm not listening. Hey, what's in this room? You give me a pep talk, an owner, you give me a pep talk, it's not going to help anything. It's going to be in that room, Skip. And that's the problem. Jerry wants to coach, but he doesn't want to do the day-to-day aspect of it, to going and diagramming plays and getting things ready. Yep. But he still thinks he's a coach. He does.
And I agree with everything you said times 1,000. And I'm going to go deeper here. As a longtime Cowboy fan, I despised what Jerry told the team last night because I wanted fire and brimstone. I wanted him to go in and attempt to relight what is left of the fire under this team. I wanted some kind of fire and brimstone speech of this giving up in the second half will no longer be tolerated or jobs are going to be lost, including some on the coaching staff. Instead, I got the equivalent to me of a concession speech. It's okay.
We're not that good right now.
We're just not that good. We don't have Sean Lee. We don't have Ezekiel Elliott. So I want all of you just to go home and be with your families tonight and think about all the things off the football field that you should be grateful for. Well, that's a sweet, nice thought, unless you're the general manager of the Dallas Cowboys who have crumbled right before your very eyes.
Right.
Now, to Jerry's psyche. I spent many, many hours around Jerry Jones in Dallas, Texas. And I'm here to tell you, he is the best loser I've ever been around, the most humble, gracious loser I've ever been around, the most optimistic loser. He's the most optimistic man in the world.
Right.
And he loves to tell the stories of how, in his early days in the oil field, he went bust several times and never gave up. And last night he told the media the story about the prospector in San Francisco during the gold rush days who he gave up. And the next guy came along with his pick and stuck it in the ground, and there was a big gold nugget. And so he's saying, well, if we just come back on Thursday night against those arch-rival Redskins, maybe we'll stick our pick in the ground, and maybe we'll accidentally find gold, right? Because that's about all that's left for this team.
Yes.
So I'm here to tell you that the last 3 weeks have been the most difficult 3 weeks, the worst 3 weeks of Jerry Jones' career with the Dallas Cowboys. Because think of what has happened over the last 3 weeks. He was under the impression, this was his impression, that the commissioner told him in August that Ezekiel Elliott would not be suspended.
Correct.
So the first week without Zeke, where did he have to go? To Atlanta to face an Arthur Blank and his team, and he's fighting Arthur Blank over the extension of Roger Goodell's contract.
Correct.
And what does he have to watch in the second half? His team collapse.
Right.
Then the next week, it's home. Sunday night game against Philadelphia. And what did Jerry schedule for halftime of that game? He honored himself for getting into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he invited all the ex-players of the Dallas Cowboys who are in the Hall of Fame to surround him, and by association, he was famous. And guess what happened in the second half? 30 to nothing. 30 to nothing Philadelphia happened in the second half. Then what happened yesterday? This is a big deal. Thanksgiving Day for Jerry and his family.
Yeah.
They love the holiday, number one, but this is their stage at home in the prime time slot right after most people have eaten their Thanksgiving feast. They sit back and watch the Dallas Cowboys.
And they get a big plug for the Salvation Army, which is
do.
near and dear to Jerry and the Cowboys charity. That's their charity.
And what did he have to watch in the second half? A collapse, an embarrassment, an annihilation, a humiliation. So he says, gee, I know I'm somewhat at fault for this because I didn't build the right team around Sean Lee. We lost Sean Lee. So he goes in and basically said, it's okay, guys. Go home and have fun this Thanksgiving and be grateful for all that we do have. I don't want to hear that. That gets you nowhere.
Yeah.
Jason Garrett is the wrong coach, wrong place, wrong time for this football team because all he does is he's really good at patting guys on the butt. That's what he does.
But Skip, how can you coach when you really don't have the authority to coach? Because no matter what happens, I can circumvent you and go to Jerry with all my problems. If I got a problem with my play time, with the play selection, I ain't gonna talk to my position coach or the offensive coordinator, the head coach.
Nope.
I just go straight to Jerry.
I agree.
And he's always had this leeway since Jimmy was gone. He had it with except Parcells. You know Parcells wasn't having that.
Nope.
And so he's always going to have these type of guys.
Correct. Jerry was always the good cop to their bad cop.
Correct.
And Jimmy and Jerry were an all-time great sort of Lennon-McCartney combination because of real good cop and really bad but good bad cop.
Right.
And Parcells, I thought, would work with Jerry, and it didn't quite click because Jerry was still in charge, and Terrell Owens knew he could go to Jerry and circumvent the head coach. So in this case, Jerry is still in charge, but it's all good cop. And Jason's a good cop, and Jerry's a good cop, and there's no tough love here. You need tough love. You need somebody to walk in and say, this stops now. Or somebody's going to be gone, right? Do you think the Cowboys went home feared they're going to lose their jobs over this?
Hey, he said, babe, be thankful for this spread. You know, Jerry said be thankful, so I'm not even thinking about that. For me, Skip, losing hurt. And then especially losing how we lost. It didn't matter. I mean, I played games without John Elway and we lost. But that didn't make it any easier, and I damn sure didn't want the owner to come in and say everything's going to be okay, because everything is not going to be okay. Because you know what's going to happen, Skip? Somebody's going to lose their job because of this. Dan Reed lost his job because John Elway missed 8 games and we couldn't win. Wade Phillips lost his job because guys wouldn't play hard. A lot of the same players that played hard for Mike Shanahan when he came in 95, wouldn't play hard for Wade Phillips in 93 and 94. That's what got me upset with players.
So Jerry Jones went in last night and said, it's okay, we'll get him next year.
Man, please.
That's what he said. We'll get him next year.
Skip, I ain't worried about next year.
Way to go.
What next year got to do with me? I'm talking about now. I'm trying to win now. You hanging all these L's on my resume.
This is why the Dallas Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl or played in a Super Bowl since 1995. Yeah, way to go.
You know what? You know who I'm blaming? You know who I'm blaming? I'm blaming Emmett. I'm blaming Troy. I'm blaming Michael Irvin. I'm blaming Charles Haley. I'm blaming Dion. Because if they were still playing, the Cowboys would not be in this pickle. So I'm blaming them. But the number one reason, I'm blaming the whole protest. See, if he'd have left Commissioner alone, Commissioner got all the other owners on his side. Like, hey, buddy, how you doing? Yeah, we gonna stick it to old Jerry.
No mercy. Hey guys, Joy Taylor here with a quick word about an exciting new project here at Fox, executive produced by LeBron James. 89 Blocks is the first film from Fox Sports' new documentary series entitled Magnify. 89 Blocks is a story about the East St. Louis Flyers high school football team, but it goes far beyond the lines of the field. It's an in-depth look at a community on the edge and the enduring spirit of its people to continue following their dreams. Watch 89 Blocks this Sunday afternoon, November 26th on Fox. Check your local listings.
No mercy. Now, the Cowboys lost their 3rd straight yesterday, 28-6 at home to the Chargers. Dallas has not won since Ezekiel Elliott started serving his 6-game suspension. Dak Prescott has 8 turnovers and 0 touchdown passes in Zeke's absence. We're joined by FS1 NFL analyst Eric Dickerson. Eric, how much are the Cowboys missing Zeke right now?
Wow, good morning, everybody.
Wow.
Hey,
Good morning. You must be a big deal.
I must be a big deal.
You have a lot to be thankful for.
I do have a lot to be thankful for. A lot.
I don't.
I'll say this much. They're missing Zeke a lot. They really are. I mean, he's one of the best, if not the best, running back in the National Football League. But it would be no different if the quarterback was out, Dak Prescott. They go hand in hand. They really do. They play well together. You know, you can look at the numbers. I mean, the first week when Zeke opened the season against the Giants, he had 107 yards. I know you were happy. You know, played well. Went down to Denver and got crushed. But, you know, when your team is not playing well, sometimes you have to look at the captain. And to me, you have to look at Jason Garrett. I mean, it's not all about Zeke. They have players on this football team. They really do. But you have a coach that, to me, doesn't make the second half adjustments. And I do like, one thing I do like about this team, I like Jerry Jones. I know people don't like Jerry but Jerry is loyal sometimes to a fault. And that's what it is. He's loyal to Jason Garrett.
Those players love him, and Jason is like a son.
He's like a son. And just like, I would say, you know who misses, I think, Des Bryant is missing right now, really bad? Who you think?
Tony Romo.
Tony Romo.
Yeah.
He's missing Tony Romo because you know what? They knew each other. Dez and Tony. And I would say this, they might say Dez over. To me, Dez is not over the hill. He really hasn't had that chemistry, you know, that he'd have with Tony Romo. And so this football team, to me, yes, they miss Zeke. They miss Zeke a lot. But hey, you have injuries in the National Football League. You have to move on. I mean, Tyrod Smith, he got hurt. He played the other day. Yesterday, he played good. Now they've got the right guard is out. Zach Martin is out on concussion protocol. So, hey, that's football. You just have to you have to suck it up, make the adjustments, and I still say it goes to the captain of the ship. I like Jason Garrett. You know, I know Jerry Jones loves Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
But
I like him too. I like all them.
You have to look at the captain.
But without 2-1, nothing is getting served. And I've been trying to tell Skip this for the longest time, ED. A lot of people tried to tell him. He said, if you put Carson Wentz in that Dallas offense last year, he would give you exact numbers, if not better. Oh, no, it's all him.
Nope.
Oh,
wrong.
So let me tell you what Dak Prescott has done. Dak Prescott went from turning the ball over about once every 2.5 games.
No, wait a second. You have to frame that. Wait a second. Through 25 games, historically the greatest ever at that. Okay? You got to make that point.
In his first 24 games, ED, he had 12 total turnovers. In his last 3 games, he has 8. Now, if your defense is struggling, your defense isn't very good, what can't you do with the football, ED?
Run.
You can't turn it over. If your defense is bad, you can't make them play more snaps than they need to play, Skip Bayless. And that's what you're doing. So now Skip Bayless has told me since I've been on this show, and I've heard him say, I studied his tape. I went back 3 years and studied this man. This man tells you that the quarterback is the most important position.
By far.
In any position that you can play in sports. That's what he says. Now he would have you believe.
Depends on the team.
No. That ain't what he said. Now he would have you believe that Sean Lee is the most important player for the Cowboys. That's what he would have you believe.
I don't believe that.
I don't either. And he doesn't either. The fact
he does believe it with all his heart and soul, and you're starting to believe it because the numbers are screaming that you are wrong.
This is what the numbers scream to me, ED. I don't know.
Tell me what the numbers scream.
Numbers scream to me say with Zeke, they're averaging 28.3 points a game. That's with Zeke.
That's with Zeke.
Without Zeke, they're 7.5. With Zeke, 370 yards of total offense. Without Zeke, 235.
That's a big drop.
Oh, and his quarterback rating. With Zeke, whew, Lord have mercy.
What we got?
Now you know QBR. Now, me and Skip, we love QBR. They measure it 0 to 100, 50 being average. He ain't come close to 50.
He ain't go to 50?
If you average up together, he's slightly above 50. I mean, he's 41, 11 and a half, 14.2. So when you average it up, he like 68, 66, 67. That's in 3 games if you add all his QBR.
Yep.
But separately, it's a mess. You know it, I know it.
Careful, you're about
That's
to
what
get run
21.
over again. Is that my turn?
It's your turn, Skip. It's
Hall
your
of
turn.
Famers
It's your turn.
able
It's
to
your turn.
speak. I did not second or third or fourth guess this. I first guessed it. I told you that Sean Lee was everything to the defense to a fault. It's built around him. He's the captain of that unit because he is the quarterback and the signal caller and the driving force. He can cover, he can plug, and he can blitz.
Can he cover Keenan
There's
Allen?
nobody like him. And Rob Ryan sat right in that chair right there and said he is a mental and physical freak. Sean Lee, the most underrated player on defense in the National Football League. Not a quarterback, but the quarterback of the defense. Without Sean Lee for 5 games, he's missed 5 games with a pulled hamstring. They have been up 9.5 on the, let me go back and get it exactly right, 8 up on the Rams. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
They were 9 up on the Packers the next game. They were only 3 down to Matt Ryan and his house in Atlanta. They were 2 up on the Eagles at halftime. Yeah. Not bad. Then they were only 3 down. It was 3-0 Chargers yesterday. The composite score of the second half of those 5 games is opponents 114, Cowboys 22. Now think about that. How many NFL teams lose second halves of 5 straight games without Sean Lee? 114 to 22? It's an annihilation. It's screaming, no Sean Lee, no hope. And I've been trying to explain this to him for months because I said it was coming and you can't refute it because you can't argue with 114 to 22. So what happened right on schedule yesterday? Phillip Rivers unfortunately got the second half kickoff. And what did he do with it?
Yeah.
Boom!
Yeah.
Touchdown.
Yeah.
What did he do the next time he got the football? Pew! Touchdown. What did he do the next time? The third time? Pew! Touchdown. And what happened on the third touchdown? Can we see this play one more time? Because it just makes me puke.
Why?
It's to Keenan Allen, and it should have been like a 15-yard gain. Can we see it one more time to Keenan Allen? Watch this. It took a
Sean Lee
little
would pick
out.
this. Sean Lee would get the game. Oh.
Miss. Oh, come on. Miss. That's 4 missed tackles.
But you know,
that's give up.
They don't tackle
That's
in the National Football League anyway.
Hey, that is a defense that loses heart, it loses its way, and it finally just gives up. And you know what that made the score? 22-6 visiting team. And what did Dak do? He kept fighting. He hit Terrence Williams over the middle for 38 yards. And then he throws a pass into the end zone that's going to cut it, if you go for 2 and make it, to 22-14 and could make it a one-possession game. Can we see the throw to Des Bryant? The guy you're talking doesn't have any chemistry or rapport. This is a sweet throw. This is right on the money. This is to Des. This is to get you right back in the game. And up! It hits him right in the hands. Again, he's going against the best cornerback in the NFL, Casey Hayward of Vanderbilt University. You have to catch that. You have to catch that. He threw up the X. He threw up the X. He threw up the X. You've got to catch it. If you're that guy, you're back in the game.
Remember this. Those are pros, too. How can you forget him? That's a pro. That is a hard catch.
Bryant, is he still the top paid receiver? I think he's up there.
No, well, he's one of them.
He's close.
He's paid as a elite receiver, although he isn't.
So all those turnovers you talk about came after that. So it's 22-6, and Dak's back there saying, damn, I got to do something here. I got to make something happen. So he tries to throw it to your little man from SMU over in the left flat. He tries to throw a jump pass to the left.
Now it's Cole Beasley's fault.
I'm just saying, you're trying to force it because you can't get him underneath. You know, they bracket him underneath. You can't get him the football. So you split him out and try to throw it in the left flat. 90 yards the other way. And then Casey Hayward picks off the next one. He's the best cornerback in football. And those are your 2 picks. So you say, he's a turnover machine. Well, it was 22-6.
Skip, it's cover 2. His read should have never took it.
Which one? Which interception?
The second interception.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
Because here's the thing.
But Casey Hayward's good.
In cover 2, Skip, if nobody threatens the flat, the corner is going to continue to sink because he wants you to. He's going to take away that rail through.
It's 28-6. Yes, it does.
No, you
got to give him some credit. And think about this. Think who he's been up against the last 3 weeks. The reigning MVP, the MVP favorite this year in Carson Wentz, and the hottest veteran quarterback in the league in Phillip Rivers.
In the words of Ric Flair, if you want to beat a man, you got to beat the man.
But you got to have help. And he didn't have any help from Des Bryant. And I agree with you. He has no rapport with him whatsoever.
He has no rapport.
Hey, Edie, and guess what? I'm glad they didn't pay in the booth. Because I was Tony Romo up there. Tony Romo was in the booth like this too. Oh, y'all thought y'all ran me out? Oh, they go.
I was afraid a mob of fans were going to go up in the box and pull him out of the box and try to take him down on the field.
But you know one thing? Why did they go? Why did they not let Alfred Morris run the football? I mean, he's averaging 5.
Okay.
Look, wait, hold it. He's not Zeke. Don't get me wrong. But
he's pretty good.
You split time. You split the carry. You got to get the guy to run the football.
Okay, I got it. But in the first half, they come out and they say, we're going to go 2 and sometimes 3 tight ends, and we're going to try to pound the rock with Alfred Morris. And they played, this is playing not to lose to me. So you kind of hang in, and because Novak got hurt, it's only 3-0 at halftime. But you know what's going to happen in the second half. Phillip Rivers is going to go off on you.
They have so little confidence in your offense. They going for it on the 16 on 4th and 13.
So little confidence in what?
They have so little confidence in your offense.
They lost their kicker. That's why they went for it on 4th and 13. So they didn't have a field goal kicker.
Think about it. All the PATs they missed. I mean, the guy was practicing, the punter. He was warming up behind him. He missed the net from 2 feet.
Wait. He said there was a hole in the net.
There's a hole in the net. Wait.
Hey, look back there and say, man, you ain't about to run. You ain't about to kick jack. But you know Tony Romo was in that booth, Skip. He's like, oh, y'all ready to be out of top.
No mercy. The Vikings won their 7th straight game yesterday, beating the Lions in Detroit. Case Keenum threw 2 touchdown passes and ran for another. The Lions had the ball down by the 7 late in the game, but Xavier Rhodes picked off Matthew Stafford to seal the win. Minnesota is now 9-2, only behind the Eagles in the NFC. We're joined once again by Eric Dickerson, but first, Skip, how much of a threat are the Vikings to win the NFC?
A serious threat. Top 5 defense, top 10 run game. And Shannon Sharpe, you love you some QBR, right? That's your favorite stat? Isn't that what you just said in the last topic?
Yeah.
They have a quarterback who's now leading the National Football League in QBR among active quarterbacks. Deshaun's still at the top, but we know he's gone for the year. Hope he had a good Thanksgiving and quick recovery. But you guys keep dismissing Case Keenum as, quote-unquote, just a backup. And I keep telling you, no. He's a pretty good starter who is playing extremely high-level football at this point. And you know, he has started now 33 NFL games. That's 33 starts. That's pretty good. And in the games he's played for the Vikings this year, he's 8-2. They have won 7 in a row. His QBR yesterday at Detroit on the Thanksgiving stage was 96. Is that good? 96?
Very good.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good. So his overall QBR of 79 is 4 points ahead of Tom Brady's second place 75. That's pretty good. So that would indicate to me, if we just go off QBR, that Case Keenum should be MVP of the league.
Let's just
right?
Where's Dak? Where's Dak?
Wow.
You got Dak?
Don't change the subject because you're getting back into
I'm
a
just
corner.
asking.
So, to me, Case Keenum, as I keep telling you guys, he's a shrewd operator. He's a gutsy little playmaker who can make things happen with his arm, which is underrated in velocity, and with his legs, especially on third down. But now he gets fire tested, and so do they, because they go to Atlanta, they go to Carolina, and it's possible Aaron Rodgers would be back on December 23rd when they visit Lambeau Field. I still think this team is good enough to win 4 of its last 5, and I say this team is on a path to play the NFC Championship game at Philadelphia, and I would give them a shot in part because of that quarterback.
I agree. If you tell me they're going to average 35 rush attempts a game, which is third, they're 8th in rushing offense with that defense, sure. But here's the thing. Head-to-head, you taking him or you taking Drew Brees? Head-to-head, you taking him or Cam Newton?
At Minnesota, I would take Case Keenum over Drew Brees. Again, I wouldn't do it in New Orleans, but I think New Orleans is on path to have to go to Minnesota if it holds like it is.
And here's the
right
thing, but even if they have to go, that's a controlled environment. That's turf. The Saints play on turf. If they have to face the Falcons play on turf. Controlled environment. So the only...
But what are the Saints doing? They're running the football like crazy.
And so the only adverse conditions that they could possibly face is going to Philly. I mean, you might get rain, but what's the likelihood it's going to snow in Carolina in the middle of January?
Probably not.
Probably not any. Skip, he's playing unbelievable, but that's the question now. I mean, regular season is one thing because you got next Sunday or you got next Thursday. Come playoff, there is no tomorrow when you lose. So that pressure will ramp up. If you notice, they're running the ball. They're playing with the lead.
They are.
It's a lot easier to play with the lead when you're running the ball like they're running it, and you have that defense. But Skip, he's playing unbelievable. This team is playing unbelievable. Thielen and Diggs, Rudolph. They got weapons.
Thielen can run a little bit.
And Murray's running the football.
He is.
They're a serious threat. And unfortunately, the NFC is like the Western Conference in basketball. All the heavy hitters are on that side, and basically in the AFC, it's basically 2 teams. It's Pittsburgh. It's
Chargers.
We'll see.
Chargers.
Well, you know, I kind of agree with both of y'all. One thing about the Minnesota Vikings is you watch their defense. They're fast on turf.
Yes.
I mean, they're not as fast on grass. You know, with Case Keenum, it's playing good. I think I still say he's most definitely an adequate backup. I mean, still a backup, but he's playing very, very good.
Right.
Man,
I call it. Hey, let me ask you.
That is such dismissal of him. Just an adequate backup?
He's a very, very good
You got that stuck in your head last year because you watched it. You had to watch him play.
I guess I saw him play last year, and I saw what happened, you know, and that's not his fault. You know, he's a very
that be a Jeff
good
Fisher
backup.
factor?
Most definitely. He's a very good backup. But the thing about the Minnesota Vikings, do they have that killer instinct? I mean, when you get a team down, you have to put them away. Yesterday, they had the Lions down.
Yeah.
And then to me, they like, we're not going to lose the game. We just want to.
That was a PI on Diggs, too. Yeah. They should have called that PI.
Yeah.
But Matt Stafford has a long history of coming back in games.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's.
You could tell that they were not trying to, like, we want to crush you. Same thing with the Redskins. They should have put them away. Another thing. The kicking game. A couple of years ago when they missed that 25-yard field goal, you know, to win that game with Seattle, hey, you know, we're not.
He's going south.
Yeah, we're not sure about that. So is this a very good football team? Yes. Can they go to Philly and beat Philly at home in the playoffs? I would have to say.
I love Mike Zimmer. I love Sherman calling the play. I love Skip. Think about this. They got the ball in the second half, and they go 75 yards in 4 running plays. That's unheard, Skip, that's unheard of. I don't care who you're going against. If you can run the ball 4 times, go 75 yards in 2 minutes, now that makes his job a lot easier because now when you play action, guys are wide open. You look, you see Thielen, he's wide open. Diggs is wide open. Kyle Rudolph is wide open because they can run the ball so effectively. What happens, Skip, because we see what happened to old Dak. When they shut off that run and teams sell out to stop that run and says, okay, son, if you go throw for 350 and 3 touchdowns and you beat us, I'm going to walk to center field, shake your hand and say, good luck next week.
Is half their defense going to get hurt at the same time? Minnesota's? Is that what you? Then
No.
we'll see what happens to Case Keenum.
But I noticed you said, Skip, you said the Cowboys defense gave up 114 points. What is that 22?
In the second half of the games without
What about
Sean
that? What's
Lee.
that 22? Who's doing that 22?
Did you see what happened in the last two games? Philly and then yesterday the Chargers had the ball for 19 minutes to 11 minutes in the second half. How do you score when you don't have the ball?
What you do with it when you do have it? Because you had 5 possessions in the first half. What'd you do?
I ran over him last time. So you had to get back. He forgot.
I'm looking at this. I'm like 22. Yeah. So who?
19 minutes for Phillip Rivers, 11 minutes for Dak Prescott, who, by the way, threw for 133 yards just in the second half alone. That's pretty good.
But Captain Check. What did Captain Checkdown throw for?
I don't know who's Captain Checkdown.
Dak.
He's not Captain Checkdown. What about the pass he threw to Des Bryant that should have been 6 points?
Oh, you know what you do? He loves sound effects. Phillip Rivers gets the ball first half, ping, right down the field. Okay, in the process of that ping, okay, what did Dak do when he got the ball?
When? In the first half?
Blap. Okay,
no, they didn't go blap. They were going 2 tight ends pounding out
in the second half. In the second half,
wait a second.
They should have kept running after him.
In the first half, Dak threw it 10 times and completed 9 passes.
Checking it down, he had 40 yards.
But that's the game plan. He had 46 yards passing.
Whose
fault is that?
You got a franchise quarterback and you checking it down, ED?
It's the game plan because you know your defense is so bad. You're going to try to play keep away as long as you can play keep away.
Maybe they know their quarterback so bad too.
What did I tell you before? I told you I would have started Bryce Butler for Des Bryant, and I would have thrown it every time in the first half.
That's your quarterback.
That's just me.
Your quarterback is not capable of that.
Yes, he is.
But back to Case Keenum. He's playing very well in the ED. He's 71% completion.
He's not giving into it. No, he says he's just an adequate backup.
He's still a good back. He's still I'm going to ask you this here.
He started 33
let me ask you this question here. Do you
think
that Case Keenum can take the Minnesota Vikings to the Super Bowl and win?
Yeah. Not win, because he can't beat Tom Brady.
Come on. Well, let's just say Tom Brady's not there.
Take him to
let's say the Steelers there.
ED. Yeah. We saw last year, we saw a guy play good for 16 games. And what he looking like this year without that running game?
Wait, what did he do in the 17th game? That guy, Dak Prescott, against Aaron Rodgers? He had better QBR than Aaron Rodgers had in that game. He threw for 300 yards in that game.
I was down to win.
I don't normally open up on holidays, but I stayed open because I knew there were 3 games. I'm still serving them things. Hot W's and hot L's. Which one did you want? Mr. Bayless, what would you be having today? I want an old hot L or hot L by 22. I told him it was going to be big. Give me 10 points. I said, Skip, I don't want to hurt you because if I gave
you know why you had to stay open late? Because the Giants you picked to win the NFC East, they came for your restaurant for a bunch of L's. And the Broncos you picked to win the AFC West, they came for a bunch of L's at your restaurant.
Everybody had the Cowboys winning the NFC East. Everybody had the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl. I say not only are they not going to the Super Bowl, they're not making the playoffs.
Because you predicted Sean Lee was going to miss 5 games. Is that right? Did you predict? I don't remember you predicting that.
Is Sean Lee LT? I mean, is he that good?
He is to them.
Sean Lee never knew.
To them, he is LT.
Sean Lee never knew he was this important.
I mean, seriously. I mean, he's good, but
where's my pass rush? I don't know. They've had 1 sack in 3 games.
What happened to DeMarcus Lawrence Taylor? What about DeMarcus Lawrence Taylor?
He's out. He's gone.
What about Jordan Lewis?
You know
who was he? Chad Heath?
I'd bench them all.
Brown.
But I'm not the coach.
Skip. You got to play somebody.
No.
Okay,
but
how about this here? Can you tell me about that quarterback? What's your quarterback doing, Skip?
Let me ask you, are we talking about the Vikings?
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum. Case Keenum looking better than somebody in Dallas.
He is looking good. I mean, like I said, still say he's backup.
Well, Eric, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No mercy.
The 4-6 Raiders and 3-7 Broncos are going in the wrong direction in the AFC West. In Denver, an anonymous coach told Bleacher Report that John Elway is developing a reputation for being a coach killer. Last week, Elway said his team was playing soft, and Denver followed that up by losing their 6th straight game. Then they fired offensive coordinator Mike McCoy. In Oakland, the Raiders fired defensive coordinator Ken Norton Jr. earlier this week after they were blown out by the Patriots. One day after that, Khalil Mack and Bruce Irving missed practice, and some are speculating it was a protest to the firing. Shannon, what's a bigger mess right now, the Raiders or the Broncos?
That's a good question.
Skip, I want to put some of this in context. If Bruce Irving and Khalil Mack were so upset that Ken Norton Jr. got fired, they could have played better and he'd kept his damn job.
Good point.
It's part of the reason why you have no interceptions, 10 games into the season. Since 1950, no team has gone 10 games without having an interception. They have 14 sacks, fewest in the NFL. But, Skip, this started in the offseason for both. The Oakland Raiders, they get Derek Carr hurt. and Jack Del Rio fires Bill Musgrave as offensive coordinator. A year after winning the Super Bowl, going 9-7, all of a sudden Gary Kubiak, I'm gonna step away. Now, here we are, fast forward, offensive coordinator for Denver gets fired, defensive coordinator for Oakland gets fired, and this is where we are. But to make a long story short, the bigger mess is Denver because they don't have a quarterback. Skip, we got 98 years of data. Anytime a quarterback is 6'7" or taller, he's trash. John Elway selected him twice.
Yep.
This is not 4
That's
months.
a good point.
This is not 4 months of data. This is not 4 years of data. Not even 40 years. 98 years of data. If your quarterback is 6'7" or taller, I think John forgot that he played football. Now the Nuggets might need one of those guys.
You're talking about Osweiler.
Yeah, Osweiler and Paxton Lynch.
Who's going to play?
Now the Nuggets might need one of those guys because Millsap hurt his wrist, so one of those guys might be able to go fill in for him.
Yep.
Skip, if you're going to heap praise on John Elway, bringing in, getting Peyton Manning to come there, division title after division title, Super Bowl appearances, go to 2, win 1, he got to take some blame. He selected those 2 quarterbacks. He selected Jake Butt, tight end in the second round, I think, and has not played. Jeff Harriman has been a bust. Look at his offensive players he selected. They've been terrible. Now, and everybody's, well, he got Von Miller. If you took any player in the draft in the first round and you did not reach for a quarterback, you struck it rich. Because Cam Newton was 1, Von Miller was 2, Darius was 3, Pat Peterson was 4, A.J. Green was 5, Julio Jones was 6. Oh, J.J. Watt was 11. Nate Solder was in that draft. Oh, Skip. Robert Quinn was in that draft. So, nope, Ryan Kerrigan. So, if you didn't reach for a quarterback, a la Christian Ponder, Minnesota, Jake Locker, Tennessee, Blaine Gabbert, Jacksonville, you struck it rich. Look at this. The body of work says what it is. Now, John Fox is gone. Gary Kubiak is gone. Vance Joseph inherited a top 5 defense with 2 all-pro corners, an all-pro linebacker that will be in the Defensive Player of the Year discussion every single year. And look what's happened. That's fact. Now, he wouldn't give Brock Osweiler $16 million because he didn't think it was good enough. But now, now, what I don't understand, you tried to trade for Colin Kaepernick just a year ago. You wanted to take a $5 million pay cut. But Colin Kaepernick all of a sudden can't play anymore, but Brock Osweiler can. Now, think about this. The Cleveland Browns say, Brock Osweiler, we're going to give you $16 million to go play quarterback. You can play quarterback anywhere in the NFL. It just cannot be in Cleveland, Ohio. John Elway said, you know what? I think he might be okay for $775,000. Really? He is what he is. We're going to find out if Paxton Lynch can play. But the 98 years of data says that if your quarterback is 6'7" or taller, he's not going to be able to play in the NFL. That's what the numbers show. And at some point in time, we can say it was John Fox. We can say it was Gary Kubiak. We can say it was Mike McCoy. But at some point in time, who doing the cooking? Somebody burning the food, and it smell bad, and we keep blaming the chefs.
Wow. I love and admire everything you just said. In fact, I think it was your greatest salvo ever on Undisputed. But I warn you, you might have just lost your parking pass and your sideline pass in Denver.
No.
No?
No. I'm good.
No.
Me and Joel is real good. And
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why you're out on that limb. Like
No. I'm not going to lose anything, Skip. My job now is to tell it like it is.
Okay, I agree with everything you just said, but back quickly to the Raiders. To me, the bigger short-term mess is the Raiders because I personally expected more of the Raiders than I did the Broncos. I didn't think the Broncos were going to make the playoffs anyway, but I did think, we both thought the Raiders were going to be, I think, a wild card team, right?
Yeah, but you and I have never been impressed with their defense.
No, never. But they do have Derek Carr, even though he's been hurt for part of this year, and they are a car wreck. And back to Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin, to me, if Jack Del Rio wants any semblance of credibility left as the head coach of this team, this is just me, you have to suspend both of those players for this game Sunday in Oakland against the arch-rival Denver Broncos. Will he do it? I'm going to doubt it because they're teetering into such an abject mess that I don't know if he can because he's just fighting for his job. Right now,
absolutely,
right?
yes.
But this was out-and-out mutiny for them just to say, oh, you fired our coordinator? We don't go to practice. What really?
Skip.
You can't do that.
How about this, Skip? Head coaches come and go. Defensive, offensive coordinators come and go. Players come and go. The one thing that can never go or should never leave is professionalism. Regardless who the coach is, regardless who the players are, you have a job, you're collecting a check. You must be professional. You must maintain that level of professionalism at all times.
I got it. And I know Ken Norton Jr., and he's a really good guy,
Yes.
and I get that. And they loved him to a fault. And to your point, if you played a little better, he'd still have his job.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, back to the Denver Broncos. John Elway is getting exposed. And if you really look back at the big picture, remember, his deficiencies as a GM got camouflaged by number 1, Tim Tebow, and number 2, Peyton Manning. Am I right? Because he inherited Tim Tebow, who, by the way, the previous year, Denver went 4-12, but the last 3 games, Tebow started, and he won 2 out of 3 of those games.
Correct.
So he inherits that guy, but he starts Kyle Orton, and they go 1-4 in 2011, John's first year as the GM.
Correct.
And he says, God, I have no choice. I got to give Tebow a shot here. The fans want him. He'll fall on his face quickly. They're at Miami the next week, and then I can get him out of there and get Orton back in there. And you know what happened? Tebow carries them to a division title and a playoff win, and it camouflaged what was starting to go wrong. And then right on schedule, Peyton Manning gets pushed out the back door in Indy, and he knocks on the door in Denver and says, I would like to play for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Really? Well, at that point, a lot of people thought he couldn't play at all. But to John's credit, he's like, hey, love to have you.
He didn't have anything to lose because
he
realized he couldn't win it with Tebow.
So what happened over the next 4 years? The Denver Broncos went 50-14 under Peyton Manning. Now, he didn't play the whole time in the 4th year, but in his 4 years as a Bronco, they went 50-14, which was the best record in the National Football League, better than New England's record in those 4 years.
Yes.
They went to 2 Super Bowls. They obviously got blown out in the first one by Seattle, but they, with Peyton at quarterback, won John Elway a Super Bowl as GM.
Correct.
And he sort of got thrust up on the throne as the best GM in football, right?
Yes.
And it was all camouflage because once he was gone, once Peyton was gone, all of a sudden it's Trevor Siemian, and you did go 9-7, but you missed the playoffs, and now, really, they're 3-7? And the defense now, starting with Aqib Talib, he's getting a little up there, just a little up there. So the window, I'm not saying it's shut, but it's closing on the defense, right?
And the thing is, what Peyton was able to do, he could get you out of a bad play into a good play, get you a good play to a great play. At some point in time, what you need at the quarterback position, Skip, is competence. There's going to come a time in the game that he's going to need to make 2 or 3 throws. Either he makes them or he doesn't. Trevor Siemian can't make those throws consistently. We've seen enough of Brock Osweiler. We know what he is.
I agree.
So now they need to see what Paxton Lynch, what he is. But the data says for a 6'7" quarterback or taller, that the numbers are not going to be what you want them to be. And you're right. He is an idol. He's an icon. John Elway is an icon in Denver.
He is.
But his selections have not been very good. And instead of being like a Coach Belichick and moving on, the guy can't play, he can't play. He's going to make it try to fit. But look, everybody sees it. Herman was a bust at the tight end position. Jake Butt, we're going to find out. I mean, I'm real hesitant of taking a guy that's injured and shelving him and letting him play the next year. Nah, I need somebody that's going to help me now. And Kubiak wins the Super Bowl, goes 9-7. And all of a sudden, miraculously, he don't have the stomach to coach anymore.
Interesting. And Mike McCoy is highly respected, and they just scapegoated him.
As a matter of fact, look at Phillip Rivers. When you have that guy, it doesn't matter who the coach is. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Now, you could keep talking about all this, and Joe Woods might turn out to be a hell of a defensive coordinator and might make a great coach. But he's not Wade Phillips.
Nope.
At some point in time, you got to stop trying to micromanage and save money. If you're trying to win, it takes money to make money.
Good point.
Spend that money. If you didn't want to sign Malik Jackson, you better sign Calais Campbell. Because, Skip, when the defense was at its absolute best, they had Wolf and Jackson up front, and they had DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller.
They did.
They collapsed the pocket, and you run outside, you either go into Ware or you go into Miller. They don't have that now.
Nope.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed podcast. I'm Alex Curry in for Joy Taylor. Undisputed will be back at the same time on Monday morning, 9:30 Eastern. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Fox Sports, one of one. of one.